Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 9th day of July, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, you can tune us in everywhere at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice from anywhere else on planet Earth, you've gone to our website to do that, ksje.com, or maybe you're listening through the KSJE radio app, or maybe you have asked your smart speaker to play KSJE. No matter how you got here, we're glad that you are here this morning. Welcome also to folks who are watching me right now. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So we have a whole bunch of folks joining us this morning, which is good because we're going to be talking about economic development, getting an update in the summer from Tim Gibbs, the CEO of Four Corners Economic Development. Stay tuned for that conversation. Lots going on, so stay tuned for that coming up in the next few moments here on KSJE this morning. Of course, Mick Hess will be here next hour with our classical music program, Roving with the Arts. That starts at 9:06. You can also connect with us on other social media platforms. If that's your thing, you can find us over on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and Nextdoor now. So find us there as well. Also, if you're a podcast listener, you'll find our podcast. We publish a new one almost every day, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, you can find our podcasts and more on the KSJE Radio app, available on the App Store and on Google Play. Outside our studios at San Juan College this morning, it is already 76 degrees. There's a heat advisory in effect starting at noon today because of the hot weather that has just settled into the area. Hot today, 95 with sunshine in Farmington, 68 overnight. Hot again tomorrow, 95 on Friday, 97 by Saturday, 96 by Sunday. Cooling off to 92 Monday and Tuesday. Maybe some showers coming in to cool things off on Tuesday night. More rain in the forecast next Wednesday. We'll see if that happens with a high of 94 and an overnight low of 71, and more showers over the evening time next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'll be back with my guest right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital serving the Four Corners. With a 115-year history of improving the quality of life, health, and care of individuals and families throughout our region. When life happens, San Juan Regional Medical Center is here to serve everybody. Find out more at sanjuanregional.com.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin Morning Program on KSJE.
I'm back in the studio this morning with my guest, as I mentioned, the one and only Tim Gibbs is here from Four Corners Economic Development. Mr. Gibbs, welcome back. Good to see you.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
You bet. Good to have you here. One day after your big annual meeting for Four Corners Economic Development, right? That was yesterday morning.
It was.
I would have been there, but I was here.
That's right.
I apologize.
That's right. No,
yeah.
it was a great day.
Good.
It's a day where we kind of look back over the last year, and with a little bit of a prognostication of year to come.
Right.
We also passed the gavel between chairmen.
Mm-hmm.
Our chairman served for 2 years, so Vince Moffett passed the chairmanship to Andy Hawkins. Andy Hawkins is the community engagement manager for Intech, Navajo Transitional Energy Company.
Nice. Right. Big economic development player, I would say, in the community.
Yeah, both of them are. Vince
True.
is the largest
Basin Health Companies.
Yeah, largest private employer in the county.
Right.
And Intech is as well, great partners as well. And it's always interesting when you have a chair of a organization like ours, because each one will have its own priorities. They have their own management style. And for me, it's just an opportunity to learn.
Right.
It's completely different. And it always is. And I've spent some time with Andy sitting down of what he wants to see, how he wants to see it, what's the best way to keep him informed, all of those type things, because he's got a day job too.
Right. Yeah. A big one.
Yeah.
Right.
These are important entities. But we also got to keep them up to date with what's going on with the Force Ed. And I work for a board, so I need to give them quality information and get guidance from them as well.
Sure. What are you seeing from this new chair as far as what his priorities are? Is there anything new that maybe you hadn't been focused on before, or similar stuff just in maybe a little different way?
Well, and I think it's the second one, because we have a strategic plan, and we're always going to take advantage of opportunities as they come along. But there were some things that he identified to the group when he spoke yesterday that was going to be important to him. He wanted to make certain that first and foremost that we were taking care of the people we serve. How can we help you? How can we be the best partner? How can we do things to make your business better? First and foremost, he wanted that.
Right.
He also wanted us to be straight in line and working as closely as we possibly can with San Juan County and the rail project.
We talked about that here,
yeah,
sure, right?
Because the rail affects everything. It affects every business, whether you know it or not. Just because if there's cheap ways or competitive ways or more competition to transport product both in and out of this region, it's going to help everyone.
Right.
And the work that the county has done is phenomenal on the rail service. So how can we be the best partner once again to them for that particular item?
Sure.
What can we do to help them? Because they're farther along on that project than we've ever gotten before. And
which is, I think, important to note, because folks who've been here for a while will say, well, they've been talking about rail for 60, 70, 80 years now, right? And that's true, but this is the farthest along with the input from state and federal governments that this project has ever been, and there's actually some dollars to back up some of the talking that's been happening too, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about.
That's where I was going to go, is the investment of both the federal and the state. The state set aside money for the match for this as well. They've done such quality work on this with the Federal Railroad Administration, with state government, with our partners as well that would actually use this service.
Right. And the tribe, I think, too. It's important to recognize, right? Because they are a major player, and they're very involved and supportive of this as well, I think, for maybe that has not always been the case.
Exactly. Having their Natural Resource Committee endorse that, a few months back, that was powerful.
Right.
So, he just wants us to be very, very clear of our intent of support and what we can do to be the best partner we can be on that.
Right. Well, I would think when the word economic development is in the name of your title, that this project kind of goes hand in hand with some of that stuff. As you mentioned, it's a real game changer, I think. It's expensive, it's long term, but it's one of those things that I think people look back on and say, wow, that really changed the trajectory of our communities, whether we got it or didn't get it, kind of thing.
And we're working on several things that can change the trajectory of our community, that will set the stage for the next decade to come. Right. But that's a priority. That's one that he brought to the table. And the third one is more of an internal goal. It was about funding for the organization. We're funded about half public, half private. It used to be more public and less private, but we've grown in membership. Nice. Because we have things to offer, to our members. Well. That, and we build a bigger piece of pie for everyone to take advantage of as well. And he would like for us to find new ways and new things, because we're constantly trying to do more and more and more, and that costs more and more as well for the organization. So how can we do things in a way not just on the back of any certain group, but expand our scope where we can keep growing the organization, because we've had a nice run for the last year or two, and we want to keep it up. Right. We've got several important things that we're working on that are fundamental for this community, like housing. Right. The housing went up. I hate to be this facts, lies, and statistics, guys, but quantitating things sometimes, proves the point of what we're doing and why. Right. It gives you some data to back up your decisions, right? Housing went up 9% in San Juan County last year. Prices did. Average cost is about 165,000, or excuse me, 360.
I was going to say, where are you finding that house, Tim?
300
Okay.
to 365,000.
Right. Now, if I'm selling a house, that's good news. If I'm trying to afford a house or rent, that's not so good news, right?
But there's shortages across the spectrum from every level of housing. There just is, and with wages where there are, there's really a dichotomy there between there being enough houses and being enough houses people can afford.
Correct.
And when we're trying to grow the economy, when we're trying to have economic development, we need housing. We just do. Not a stable stock, but a growing stock of it. So we're standing up a housing organization. It's a nonprofit eventually, but now it's going to be under Forset, and we're going to be that public-private thing to bring things to the table to actually find ways to lower the cost of housing and to increase the housing stock that's in this region. We've got so many things, so many factors. They call us four corners for a region. We're not just Farmington or the other municipalities or San Juan County. We're connected to Durango. Average house well, first off, I got a question for you. Take a guess. Last month, how many houses were for sale in MLS in Durango?
In Durango.
In the city of Durango.
In the city of Durango in June.
Yes.
Oh, maybe, I don't know, 50?
7.
Oh.
7, not 57, 7.
7, okay.
7 were for sale.
And I could afford none of them.
That's my next point, is housing in Durango and in La Plata County is over $1 million.
Yeah.
And so the down valley effect, it's both an opportunity, but it's also an issue.
Right.
And we have to understand that.
Right.
And-
But if we have an affordability problem here, I can't imagine what folks in that area are dealing with. I guess they're dealing with 5 roommates, or they're dealing with
3 jobs.
maybe living in someone's attic or studio apartment or whatever. But it's a totally different situation, I think, in that community, and you can see it if you go there, of some of the stresses on their housing market.
And there's been some really good efforts in New Mexico of other cities to address housing that they've had some success with similar type organizations that can bring public assets, private partners together to do things that would help if there's infill of property that could happen within a city limit, not just Farmington, but all our cities.
Right.
That's got infrastructure. Well, we certainly can lower the cost of what it takes to stand up a house or stand up an apartment building, because density also helps as well. It's all types of housing, from retirement housing down to, affordable housing. It's all types of those type things. But when you have a nonprofit, when you have something that can be kind of in the middle between the public and private, you can put things together, and we can do it quicker. We can be more efficient about it, and we can make a difference for the community that really, really wants to live here, but they need a home.
Right. Exactly. And it seems like there's a lot of maybe resources, maybe state, maybe federal, that could go to some of these builders to say, if you're willing to come up with a project or help with a project and get shovels in the ground and move some dirt around, there's some money that may make it profitable for you to take on a project like this. Is that kind of something that you're talking about too?
Well, there certainly is from our state delegation, and we've been having those conversations.
Right.
Because we do, in conjunction with the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, we do a legislative send-off. And it's usually right before the legislative session starts.
Right.
And we get our elected officials to come in, and they prognosticate these are the bills that's been pre-filed, and this is what we think's going to happen here, and these are the things we're worried about. And the public's there, and they can say, what about this? What about that? And they can ask them, and it's really good for both sides, both our elected officials and the public. Well, last year when we had that event, one of the themes they said to us was, if you have an ask, if there's something that's going to have a capital expense to it, ask it in the next 2 years. We're looking ahead, and we think we see what's coming. So we wanted to get to work, because if there was a specific ask for things like housing or an industrial park or any of those type things, now's the time. We didn't want to miss the opportunity.
Right.
If you look back at a prior federal policy, past 18 months ago, there was a lot of grant funding out there for things. That's dried up and went away.
Right.
Anyone that's been looking or uses that for their grants for anything that they do with their organization knows that. So you got to take advantage of things while you can.
Right. The state has stepped up to a certain degree for some of this,
They
I think,
have.
right? So
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so that's important. So I guess if you had, access to, I don't know, $10 million fund, $20 million fund, of seed money for developers to start some housing projects or things like that, is that kind of the thing we're talking about? Or
We got to be careful because Mexico's got some very unique laws called anti-donation clause.
Right, we do.
And so how we think about things is for public benefit. If it's infrastructure that has a public benefit, meaning that if one of our municipalities has got restrictions on water and they need to upgrade their water, what can we bring to the table that would help with that?
Right.
Would it lower the cost of a water tap? Would it lower the cost of a sewer tap? Would it lower the cost? So we're looking at all the costs of development, what we can do, and what we could do in a way that has a public benefit, but also would have a immediate impact to the cost and the affordability of the product that the private sector is having. It may be that lots or areas that are close to infrastructure that haven't been infilled would be a good product to take a good hard look at to see if that's the highest and best use currently,
Right.
or would it be better used for housing. And so there's several things that come to the table. It's not just a one answer playbook, but there are a lot of communities out there that has initiated these things, had great success with these things that we can emulate and build upon while making it uniquely San Juan County and the municipalities we have as well.
Gotcha. Well, good luck. I think it's an exciting idea, right, to try to come up with these solutions. It's a problem that's not just San Juan County that's facing. I think it's nationwide about housing affordability for sure. But certainly there are some unique things and maybe some unique answers and solutions that it sounds like you guys are working on here locally.
And there's been so much inflation in it as well. If anyone that
Well, right.
goes out and tries to build a new house, it's tough. It's a tough gig.
Right.
It's even tough to get financed. Part of this will even be credit counseling, because some people may need to rebuild their credit for they can be in a position that they can move into something like that as well. So
Right.
there's all kinds of assets and or facets to this with partners that we can do to put the community on maybe a better course.
Yeah, very true. Well, thanks for bringing that to us. Keep us updated as to how it's going with the conversations you're having with your private and public partners to move this forward and what the state's able to contribute. You've been traveling, I know, a little bit, and maybe you have some more international connections to tell us about.
Well, first off, when people hear the word international, maybe their ears perk up. Like, why? Why would we do those things? What we've been trying
Well,
to
we're
do.
barely a state. People recognize,
No, that's not it.
Okay.
For the last 2.5 years, we've been trying to put ourselves front and center for people to see the opportunity that New Mexico and northwest New Mexico has to offer. For a lot of time, we have been what some would consider a flyover. You're on your way to LA or going to Texas or whatever it may be, or Arizona. We want to put ourselves in position where we can compete, to show the people we have, the community we have, and how people can be successful here, like a lot of other companies that are here
They
now
already figured it out. Yeah.
doing that. There's some things going on also in policy-wise that has driven some opportunity as well. Last week I was in Canada. We met with 7 companies in 2.5 days. Kept the roads hot. That was looking for opportunities to expand into United States.
Great.
Whether it was for distribution, for manufacturing, there was a couple that wanted to move, but there were several that just wanted to expand. The Canadian market's 37 million people. United States is 337 million people. And things have changed from post-COVID on. It's not just tariffs, even though that's part of the conversation.
Sure.
But even during COVID, for the first time 100 years, the borders were closed. And for companies in Canada, where their primary market was the United States selling their product, it was really, really difficult for them. And many of them was like, well, we can't go through that again. And not saying there's going to be another epidemic, but I think they realized that the United States market is not just important, it's incredibly important for growth.
Sure.
So we met with 7 different companies and got to be the first to the table. Because many times when we get projects, we get them from the state, but if we get it from the state, 40 other communities got it too.
In the state.
Yes.
Right. They're
And
just
then-
being fair for everyone,
Yeah.
right? Where they're saying, hey,
if
this is an
they're on the
opportunity.
list. And on top of that, they probably just didn't come to New Mexico. They probably went to Arizona and New Mexico and maybe even Colorado as well.
Right.
So we're one of many when we get one through the traditional channels. When we use things like lead generation that puts us in front of companies individually, we're usually the first one they've talked to. So if we can build a rapport, show them the opportunity, show them how easy we are to work with, and how we can make their plans come true, and they can be successful long term here, we have a higher percentage of success with it than being one of 40 or one of 80 or whatever it may be.
Right.
So we have to go out and find these companies. Now, we use a service. It costs us some money, but we get in front of the, and when I sat down with a company like the 7 I met in Canada, they know that I'm from New Mexico. They know that I'm representing San Juan County, Farmington, and other municipalities. They already are past I would think about that.
Right.
We could.
Well, they know you're not going to waste your time.
That's right.
You're vetted, you're coming in with something of value, and they want to talk to you. Their time is valuable, but they want to listen to you and what you have to say.
And there's one other thing that we got to do in the last couple of months that I'm really proud of. The state of New Mexico's got a marketing arm of their economic development called the New Mexico Partnership, and they do the marketing for the economic development. Well, they do trade shows and different things, and they meet with site consultants around the United States. And they usually do a few things internationally. They've got a huge Indian initiative going on, and they had several Indian companies that have announced and came to New Mexico from that. Well, they were going to go to Hanover Messe trade show in Hanover, Germany. That started in 1946 after the war to show the world what Germany could do post-war.
Okay, sure.
They wanted
Right, part of that reconstruction.
Well, we were asked to go and attend with the state that event. They were going to have a booth in the Hanover, the city of Hanover's pavilion,
right,
as an invited guest, and they were going to use lead generation as well for a abundance of meetings with companies. And we were invited to come and to be a partner and come.
Nice, right.
We hadn't done anything international other than Canada ever before, so I went to my board and I asked and told them what it was going to cost, and they said, yeah, if they're asking us to go and be a part of all their meetings, it's worthwhile for us to do so.
It's Friday opportunity.
Yes. The Friday before the event, I got a phone call, and the staff from the partnership couldn't go. They had 3 site visits that next week.
Oh.
They've tried to rearrange one or 2 of them. They couldn't because the people were in the United States, so they had to do it while they were here. And they basically said, we want you to go and represent New Mexico.
You?
Me.
Okay.
So we did.
Yeah.
And
nice.
we personally, we represented, and I'm a board member of the partnership, so it wasn't just Four Corners.
Right.
I did it under the banner of the New Mexico Partnership as a board member.
Sure.
But I got to sit through, and I got to represent the state of New Mexico for 21 industry meetings of companies looking to come to the United States and wanting to learn more about the Southwest, more about New Mexico.
Sure.
Well, yesterday I had 7 companies that were either online to watch our annual meeting, watch it, we were streaming
it live, right?
Watch it, or listen because they wanted to hear an hour-and-a-half long infomercial about our community. 7 companies from 4 countries.
Well, and about your organization too.
That's right.
And what you guys are doing.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So we're making hay.
So that contact is what has evolved into that, I guess, right?
Yeah, nice. It has. So we're not putting out our shingle for everything international, but once or twice a year, things are going to come up. Once or twice, there is going to be opportunity to share to the world about taking a look at New Mexico.
Sure.
And how we can serve their needs.
Well, isn't that getting an opportunity to have some one-on-one time with some of these folks? Isn't that really important?
It's incredible.
Or FaceTime, as we call it, right? To be able to sit across the table from somebody and really, make your pitch and answer their questions right there and then and really kind of try to make and start that relationship, I guess, too, which is a lot of what this is.
It is. It's still personal. Now, and I do it a little different, too. First thing I want to do when I sit down with them is like, tell me about your company. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what success looks like. Mm-hmm. If you ask someone many, many times, they'll give you the answers to the test. They will tell you the matrix or the things that are actually, otherwise you're just guessing and you're hoping that you cover it with all the things that you say.
Right.
But if you know that these four things are most important to them, if you know that workforce, if you know that proximity to where they're selling or buying, their whatever it may be, if you know the answers, or at least their answers, you can tailor your comments for you can show the opportunity of your community.
Right.
We can never make a bad deal good, but we can certainly make a good one better.
Sure. Well, and again, having that relationship, if there is something or question that comes up, they feel, I think, comfortable reaching out to you to say, hey, what about this? Or how can you help us with that? Here's something new we didn't think about at our last meeting, but what do you think about this?
I've been doing that every day, the follow-up. And I usually get the follow-ups at night when I'm sleeping.
Right.
Then I do it
time change.
Yeah, I do it the next day.
Sure.
But it's exciting. And one of those companies we did something very, very similar with last year that set through the presentation of our annual meeting last year. I think it's going to make here. I think it's going to take a little time, but I think it's going to make. I think something's going to come from it.
Okay.
So being the first at the table.
You're teasing us.
A little bit,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
But being first at the table, knowing your product, having good product to market, having good people, good sites, people aligned, pull on the same rope together, public, private, this is a good place to raise your kids, good schools. I mean, this college we're setting on the campus of now, the attributes they bring to the table, I've got not just a story, I've got opportunity to share.
Right. Very true. But you're a patient man. I don't know if I could do it because some of this stuff is really long term, right? I mean, you are putting these seeds in the ground to hopefully sprout something pretty big, and it may take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, right? I mean, you've got to be patient with some of these folks, right? As they put their plans together to make that announcement.
But the more seeds we plant, the more of a crop you will harvest.
That's true.
So it just goes into the funnel, and then we manage it. We use CRM. We use some really, really good ways to communicate back and forth with them, reminders to say, hey, how's it going?
Right.
Anything else I can do, or let me tell you about this, or just to keep the rapport and the conversations going.
Sure. Well, and again, I think it's a lot of it's. I think a lot of business. Someone's very famous probably had a quote that said, "All business is relationship based," or something like that. I think that's very true, right? And when you make good relationships and can talk to the other people and and make things happen, I think people have a trust and big things happen in that regard.
Well, even small things add up to big things. And I will say this, it doesn't have to be a company from Germany or Canada. They can be from Kansas. If you can make it easy for them, if they have confidence and faith in both you, the organization, the community that's being represented to them, then they're much more likely to say, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Right.
And so many businesses, whether they're family businesses or whatever it may be, they reach a point where if they're going to take the next step, they've got to expand out of their home community where they started. They just can only grow so much from their home community.
Right.
But if you understand that, and you understand that trepidation that they have of trying to make the right step and trying to have the right process to learn and to know what's important and then to check those boxes along the way, you can do it in partnership with them.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. We are almost out of time. Tim Gibbs, Dr. Tim Gibbs, and so in our final minutes, I want to ask you a little bit about that new prefix you have on your name now. I can call you Dr. Tim Gibbs, right? Because you have now earned your doctorate degree.
I did.
Congratulations.
It's really strange for me to hear that. It's still gives me the chills a little bit to hear it.
Well, yeah, but you earned it.
I did.
You earned it, and you've got the diploma. You framed it, and you've got it ready to go up in your office. I think, right?
Yeah.
You're telling me.
Yeah. All I need's a nail.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet someone will get you one.
And I tried getting my doctorate. I got it in educational leadership, but it's got a focus in career and technical training, adult education. And I tried doing it something that made me better at this job. Mm-hmm. And my capstone is on workforce participation. And it's an in-depth qualitative look at why people work or why they choose not to be in the workforce. And it's pretty telling. Many, many times it's not for the reasons you may think. sometimes people live lives that are very, very challenging, and it's difficult, and they need support systems around them to take the transition from one step to the other. And many, many times they've also got to be able to see that if they take that step, they're going to be better off than they are now. But by knowing these things and being a practitioner that works on economic development, it helps me to focus on the type of things that's going to have the maximum benefit for the community, for the benefit of the entire population.
Nice. Well, and again, you've got the research to back that up, right? And you probably learned a few things too, putting this together.
And now I'm trying to get published.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, good luck to you. Congratulations. Glad to have someone with now all of your credentials working in our corner and putting us out there on the world stage.
And local as well.
And local as well.
Thank you.
Very true. Tim Gibbs, my guest this morning here on KSJE. We'll see you again next month.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.